You work on so many different instruments. Drums, brass. What's your favourite?
As long as it's something that interests me.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really a favourite.
Yeah.
You know, wouldn't still be doing it after all this time, would I?
Beating a path towards Dom and Pete are Jim Henderson with wife Heather and bandmate Sally Shute.
Hi.
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 How's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Lovely to meet you all. This is beautiful. Whose is it?
We think it's the original marching drum from the Dalkeith Borough Band in Midlothian.
We're not Dalkeith Borough Band anymore. We're now Dalkeith and Monktonhall.
It's two mining bands amalgamated together.
So I'm assuming you're all in the band?
Yeah.
Yes.
I play the baritone.
Yeah, I play trombone, but I have been known to play tuba.
And I'm band secretary. I used to play percussion for the band.
So it's a brass band?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you any idea when they started?
Yeah, well, the Dalkeith band, it started in 1883. The Monktonhall band was actually formed as a mining band just after the First World War.
I dare say they've been fierce competitors in the past.
Yeah. Then they
Very
had
much
to,
so, yes.
and they had to start getting on with each other then.
Learn to play nice. Yeah.
What's it like being in the band?
Making the music's a big part of it, but the friendship was an awful lot deeper than that.
We all have this one thing in common, and it actually makes for a really great, fun group of people.
It's amazing what music does, isn't it? It
certainly
does.
binds people together somehow.
And I think that's why people do like brass bands.
Yeah.
It's that warm feeling you get when you hear them.
Well, hold my hands up. I did used to be in a brass band as well. It's usually a secret, but yes.
He was trying to, I could hear him trying to keep it secret, yeah.
I can completely understand what you mean.
Yeah.
There is nothing quite like it.
There must be a lot of bands with old drums. It can probably tell a few stories if it could speak. And it's obviously, it hasn't spoken for a few years. But
No. Where's it been?
Our treasure had it hidden under the altar at the church. I know. When he died, the church says, you can have your drum back, and it was in a bit of a state. So we put it in our old band hall on the shelf.
they just looked like an old tatty drum until
We moved.
We moved to our new premises and we pulled it off the shelf and we saw the nice artwork.
And we thought, no, we can't have it like that.
It's just oozing history. It's part of the band's heritage. And we can't stand back and just let it go to complete dust.
Obviously, the skins need replacing, but what else you want us to do?
If we could get it to playable condition, that would be incredible.
And just the paintwork, I just want to see it being vibrant again.
I think basically they want something that the band can be proud of, to march down the road with.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's got to look right, hasn't it? Yeah.
Can't
See
wait.
what we can do.
Best of luck.
Best of You'll need it.
Well, thank you all very, very much for bringing it in. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's beautiful, all this.
All hand painted, mate.
All hand painted, yeah.
It's a lovely bit of work, isn't it?
Do you need a hand with the paintwork? I'd love to do the touch-ups on the main body.
Between us, I think we'll give them something they're proud of.
It's going to look good, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've seen a bit of life, this drum, obviously. So we've got to clean it up. The hoops, the red on the top has completely gone, so something's got to be done about that. We've got to get it back to looking nice and smart. The rope has had it. It's quite a common problem. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to replace it. So I suppose the first job really is just strip down the drum and away we go.
Judy Hopkins' memento also needs a new lease of life, courtesy of ceramics expert Kirsten Ramsay.
There she is. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Quite well, thank you.
Good.
And thank you for having a look at my precious object for me.
Not at all.
So you say it's a precious object. Can we have a look at it then?
It is a precious object, but perhaps not in the usual way.
Okay.
So
There's a little frog in there.
there's a little frog.
Oh, wow.
That's sweet.
So what was this?
This was a mug
Okay.
that my dad used to drink his beer out of.
Yeah.
And he'd start drinking it, and then he'd say, "Oh no, what's this? There's a frog in my beer." And I and my brother would run like, "Oh no!" Every time we got caught, you know, and we'd have lots of fun and laughing about it.
Wow.
So were you quite young then?
I would have been 3, 4.
Yes.
What's Dad's name?
My dad's name was John Joseph Ryan, and I say was because sadly he died in 1956, aged 39, in a car accident on the way home from work.
39.
That's young.
He left for work in the morning,
Right.
and basically he never came home.
Dreadful.
Yeah. I was 5, and my brother was 8.
8 years old.
We didn't go to the funeral. My brother and I never got a chance to say goodbye. And that's been a really difficult thing.
Oh, that's sad.
He was a very personable, funny, charming man. This was the only thing that kind of binds my dad, my brother, and me, something we played with, something we had lots of fun with.
When did this get broken?
It was about 6 weeks ago. My husband and I moved, so this had been in a cupboard waiting for a safe place.
Right.
And I think a heavy box was put on top. And it would have been heartbreaking anyway to have lost it, but it was made worse by the fact that my brother Nick died just a few weeks before. So there was a huge sense of loss. Because there was just the two of us, we were very, very close.
Yeah.
He was just an amazing person.
This must have really hurt to see this so quickly after your
It's
brother's loss
heartbreaking.
as well.
Kirsten, absolutely heartbreaking.
What do you reckon, Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very damaged, isn't it?
It is very damaged, yes.
It's not going to be perfect, but I will try and make it look nice so that when you look at it, it doesn't hurt. You can look at it and remember your dad and your brother.
Thank you.
Fondly, yeah.
Thank you. I don't need it to be perfect. I would just like it to be whole again.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely made the right decision. This is the right person to leave it to.
Thank you so much.
Absolute
Thank you
pleasure.
both.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be.
You take care now.
Bye-bye. Bye.
It's really sad to see Judy's dad's frog mug in this terrible condition. Everything in me wants to get this back and looking as good as possible for her. Something like this is going to be really quite tricky to get back together. I'm going to have to work out where everything goes, what I've got. It feels like it's locking together quite nicely. So I'm going to make a start on cleaning. Once it's thoroughly clean, I can then start consolidating all of these exposed break edges.
Ah, just the gentleman I want to see.
Hey, that's looking good.
I've got this cleaned up. So if I can leave that with you now, please.
Perfect.
Mate.
Yeah, just to pop it there. Thank you.
Cheers, then.
Thanks, Pete.
I've got the hoops to do. The wave on here originally was gold leafed. Most of it's missing now. So I'm going to re-gold leaf that, and then I can get on with the red edges. I'm just putting the powder on here to stop the gold leaf sticking to anything that I don't want it to. Gold leaf is terrible, it'll stick to anything. That's it. I'll just use a varnish to actually stick it, but I also add a little bit of yellow to it, so I can actually see where I've put the line nice and easy. It's a lovely effect, having the gold. So I'm just going to take my time and make sure that it's all in the right place. Varnish has gone nice and tacky now. It'll grab hold of the gold. We're just going to put it on, take it off. Gold paint, I suppose, would be a lot easier, but it just hasn't got that look, has it? And it really looks the job. So I'm just going to go over with a bit of cotton wool and just get rid of the residue and hope I've got a nice, crisp, sharp line. That's a good job. That's worked out well. Now I can get on and paint the red lines, making sure that I don't muck up what I've done on the gold leaf.
It's quite unusual having a round canvas. Usually I'm working on things that are flat. I need to be so careful now. Getting these little details right. I need to make sure I actually remember to breathe. With a tendency to hold my breath. To try and keep a steady hand. Spend some time now, work my way round the entire drum, working on all the different colours, the yellows, the greens, the gold. There's so much to do, but I want this to look the best it can. Pete is a tough man to please.
The hoops are all done. We've now got to make the heads. In saying make the heads, I mean relap the heads that are already on there. I don't think they make much of a sound the way they are at the moment. So I just get these heads in water, give them a good soaking to make them all nice and pliable. It's not very thick, it's only most probably about 10-12 thousandths of an inch thick, which is very thin, but it doesn't have to take a lot of hammering. It's great stuff. It's a lot tougher than people think. These heads, nice and flexible. A little bit of water to lubricate it. Away we go. We're literally just tucking it in. I don't want it too tight, otherwise we're going to have a bass drum that's going ping, 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 which isn't quite the idea of a bass drum. That's a fair bit of lapping. When it dries out and shrinks around that hoop, it'll be all nice and even, which is like I like to see. Right, just one more to go. Once we've done that, we can rope the drum up. And we've got a bass drum again.
Today's next visitors are brother and sister John Moxon and Helen Thomas. They've brought a childhood wonder for the attention of the barn's newest recruit, woodwork expert Lou Bainbridge.
So how you feeling? First arrival? You okay?
I feel fine, yeah.
You feel fine?
Yeah, ready to get going.
Wow, my first arrival, I was like that. I was nervous.
Well, I'm like a duck. I'm like that underneath, but on the
Okay.
surface, I'm calm.
You're calm.
Yeah.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. So what have we got here? What is this?
This is a wooden windmill that was made by my father, Bill Moxon.
Right.
So these are the sails. Inside, we've got the little section that slots in.
Well done for keeping all of the bits. That'll have been quite a task.
I think hopefully they are all there. That's
like the roof.
Yeah, so that would
cover for the cap.
So at the back at the top, there was, I think, like a tail
fan, we believe.
So my dad made the windmill when we were sort of probably about 9 or 10.
So for a living, this is what your dad did? He made stuff?
No, he was the local GP, so this was his hobby, wasn't it?
The local GP made this?
Literally, he just worked things out.
Yeah.
He restored vintage cars. It had a wreck in the garage that he was doing up. So we were surrounded by things in a state of dismantlement all over the place. That was our childhood.
So how did your dad make this?
Well, he made it from things that were lying around in the house, mainly.
The sails, they were built with tongue depressors, you know, that you used to use for sore throats.
Wow.
And the inner workings, the mechanical parts, are just made from a children's construction set.
Wow. So the day that he made this and then brought it down,
it was a real wow moment,
Yeah.
you know.
It was like a wonder, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Did you used to play with this, or was it just for show?
It wasn't a toy. I think it was more to sort of educational, really, to show us how things worked.
I mean, it was an amazing piece of activity.
How wonderful.
Sadly, my father passed away in April 2020. My mum also passed away in the year after. So we weren't really able to sort through a lot of Mum and Dad's possessions until really this year.
Yeah.
And there it was on the shelf in the cellar.
So how did you feel when you found it?
It really triggers all of the memories from a particular time in our lives. This brings back a whole period in such a wonderful way for us.
So there's got a lot of memories wrapped up in this.
Yeah, we were very lucky, you know, we had a very happy childhood, and I think this just sort of summed it up. So, you know, our dream is that it'll work again, which would be
fully
fantastic. That would be just amazing.
We can certainly do something with it.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, see you
Goodbye.
soon.
Thank you very much.
Take care now.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I'm just trying to work out how this is actually going to go back together. It's almost like a giant 3D jigsaw puzzle, which is good because I like jigsaws. I know there are a couple of tail fan pieces that are missing, so I'll have to make new replicas of those and then work out how the sail is to go back together. I think the biggest challenge is going to be the mechanisms. Mark, would you be able to give me a hand?
Yeah, of course. You've got an interesting item there, by the looks of it.
I have.
It's well made, isn't it? The first thing to do, really, before anything else, I need to see if the motor is any good.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. So now Mark's looking at the mechanics for me. I'm going to start getting this cleaned and removing the dust.
As Lou cleans, Kirsten has found a natural affinity with an amphibious friend.
So I am quite a keen gardener, and ever since I had my first flat with a small balcony, I've loved growing things. So I'm a big fan of frogs and toads as they help to keep the slugs away. I guess this is the last time the frog's going to be looking out onto the world. I'm now about to start rebuilding and bonding the edges of the mug. It's always a slight sense of trepidation putting something in as many pieces as this back together. The fact that this is made out of an earthenware with a cream glaze over the top, it's quite difficult to lose the shadows where the two edges come together. I've got a fairly slow curing adhesive, so I'm not rushing this. I'm just going to take as long as it takes to get everything beautifully aligned and locked in place. It's a real satisfaction because at one stage this is just a wobbly tower of broken shards, and then you can put one section in and that gives the whole piece some kind of overall strength. It's almost magic. It's an amazing feeling. It's really lovely to see the frog mug now back and whole. So now I'm going to try and improve the way that it looks, and that is to fill these areas of loss. I'm going to use a coloured fill technique, and I'm going to try and make them the same colour as this glazed ceramic. So you don't have to overpaint at all. You just have the areas of loss filled with the tinted adhesive, and it's quite a minimal approach. There's really nowhere to hide with this, so I'm going to have to get this colour matching as good as I possibly can. It's almost there, but it's still a little bit bright. Needs, oddly enough, a tiny bit of blue in it. Unfortunately, I haven't really got the finish that I was looking for with my colour fill technique. The dark lines where the pieces had gone back together, I felt were just slightly distracting from the way the whole mug had come together and was looking. So I've removed the excess colour fills, and I'm now going to start filling these with an alternative filler and then paint out and retouch over the dark lines. I didn't particularly want to do that because it means that I'm covering some of the original, but I just feel it's really important for Judy that this looks as good as possible, and this is the approach that I'm now going to take.
With every component now gleaming, Pete is ready to reattach the freshly lapped heads to the body of the marching bass drum.
Right, starting the roping up. It'll be lovely when it's all working and paraded down the street. It brings a history. These are the braces. Because they've got both pieces of rope, as you take them down, it pulls the rope tighter, and therefore tightening the drum skin. Only another 9 holes to go through, and then we'll be ready for Sally, Jim and Heather to come and collect it. Just hope they're really happy with it.
After decades of service, the drum had fallen out of favour and abandoned beneath a church altar.
I cannot wait to hear this.
Yeah, especially with a proper person who knows what they're doing on the end of the stick.
That's neither of us.
That's neither of us, mate. Yeah.
Now Sally, Heather and Jim have returned, hopeful the drum is fit to take its rightful place as a proud symbol of their band's heritage.
Hi, you okay?
Hello.
Fine, thank you.
I see you've come dressed for the occasion.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm really looking forward to see the work that Pete's done on the drum.
What are you hoping it looks like now?
Not like new, just how it should be.
Well, do you want to have a look?
Oh, yes,
Yes,
please.
please, yeah.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
Please.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's a bony thing. It really is.
Thank you so much.
That's
Beautiful.
beautiful. Told you I would cry.
It's beautiful.
Don't really know what to say.
I know it's stunning. Thank
Well
you
done, Pete.
so
That's
much.
beautiful. It really is.
Look at that.
Dom done the touching in on it.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
The twiddly bits, yeah. I didn't realise there was tartan in behind the band logo.
So,
It's
yeah.
the first time I've seen that.
Just looks like it's aged really, really
Yeah.
well now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has aged well. It's looking good for its age.
Absolutely, it really is, yeah.
And it keeps the Dalkeith part of our heritage alive.
It's just going to bring such a sense of pride in like the shared band history, and I can't wait for everybody else to see it.
Yeah, and it's not just a beautiful looking thing, it's now, after Pete's work, ready to play.
Yeah. And if you give us a minute or so and come outside, we might have a surprise for you.
Oh, really?
Sounds
Yeah, to say
interesting.
thank you. Yeah.
Oh, OK. Do you know about this?
No, it sounds interesting.
I look forward to it. Look at this. Brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
I think it's probably the first time in a lot of years that the drum's spoken, and I was really surprised to hear the quality of the sound.
The drum looks fantastic. Is to hear the band playing it as well, the sound coming straight through it. It's lovely. So proud.
Inside the barn, Lou has carefully cleaned the windmill's wooden components, and the rebuild has begun.
There's a particular order in which you have to put the bits back together. So I'm having to put everything on this central piece first. Now we've got all the little sections back into position, we'll have to tentatively turn this over. As you see, this is proven to be very tricky. So I'll just try and manoeuvre this into position. It's already looking an awful lot better, but there is some slight adjustments to be made, and we can glue it all into place, and we can set about making new sections to fill the losses.
That's it. I've got the base off. I'm just now trying to get the motor to come out. There we go. Actually, the motor is in fairly nice condition. Well, that is rusty, though. There. Do a quick test on the motor to see if it wants to do anything. I can hear the motor try. Oh, here it goes. Yeah. Oh, yes, neat. So it's got a healthy heart. That's good. I've still got a long way to go, but we're on the right direction. So that's really good news.
I'm just tracing around this piece that was loose from one of the sails, using it as a template to make a new piece that's completely missing. And I'll be able to use the scroll saw to cut it out and we'll be able to glue it on into place after adding a little bit of varnish on the top to get the nice lustre and colour match to the rest.
I've just removed the main mechanism which drives the main sail and the tail, but at the moment the rear is actually seized. To gain access to the actual mechanism, I would have to, I think, take this whole side panel off. I'm a little bit concerned about doing that because I could potentially damage it or even break it. I propose just use some penetrating oil, put it into the areas which I can see is pretty rusty, and then see how that develops and go from there. Years ago, I used to play as a child with these sort of children's mechanical engineering kits which were popular at the time. One was the big wheel. They were enormous with a motor driving it. Always wanted to do one, never had enough bits. But I've got the next best thing, and that's a windmill, assuming, of course, I can get it to work. We're going to see now if the penetrating oil has actually managed to do its job. There's the mechanism on the side. If I turn that, and it's turning really nice. I'm really happy, and it's a real fun piece to see back in action again.
So now I've finished the main sail, I'm going to turn my attention to the tail fin. And there are 2 of the fins missing entirely and 2 that have detached. I'm using some reclaimed mahogany that I've cut really thin, and once it's got a little coat of varnish on, it'll match in really nicely and it'll look like it's been there since Bill had made it. I've got the new sections varnished and they're matching in nicely with the originals. I just need to glue them into position and let the glue dry. It's quite a fiddly job, so I feel like I need to have octopus arms to try to get this to stay. But once they are in position, I shall use this to rest against. Yeah, that's going to do the trick. I've actually worked on a full-size windmill and it's nothing compared to this. This seems harder, if anything, with it being so fiddly and intricate. But it's nice to be able to compare the 2 scales because they really are at polar opposite ends of the scale. So I'm just going to place all these into position and hopefully once the adhesive's set, Mark will be finished with the mechanical side of things and we'll be able to get it put back in one piece and get it working again for Helen and John.
I've sprayed out the cracks on the frog mug, and I'm now going to just try and flatten those off and bring them up to a really nice high shine using some polishing fabrics. That's coming up really nicely now. I'm getting a lovely polish to that surface. My greatest hope is that when Judy sees the mug whole again, it can transport her back to happy times with her dad and her brother. Her dad calling out, "What's in the bottom of the mug?" And as young children then being surprised to see this cheeky little green frog in the bottom there.
This treasured memento was shattered just a few weeks after Judy's beloved brother passed away.
Perfect. He's still in there.
Today, she has returned, hoping to rejuvenate joyful memories of both her brother and her dad.
Hello.
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 How you doing?
I'm doing quite well, I think, thank you. A bit nervous, yeah, just kind of ready to see what's under there.
It's got a load of memories of Dad and you playing.
Yes, this is the link between my dad, my brother, and our childhood.
So it's really important, yeah? Ready to see it?
Great.
Okay.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I can't tell you what this means to me. I really can't explain. It's such a small thing, but to me it means the world. My childhood kind of came to an abrupt end when my dad died, but this was the thing that has a link for me and my brother, who also passed away. There's something very healing about holding this mug like this. I can feel there's something shifting in a way I didn't expect.
So when you're seeing this every day, what's the memories that's going to come flooding back?
This was always the fun, and when this came out, that meant we were all going to have some fun together, and I've missed that. Let's put it that way. I've missed that.
Well, we're glad we can bring the fun back.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't tell you how grateful I am. It's just wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a real pleasure.
Well, now it's time to take it home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I don't think we're going to prize it from your hands.
No, we're not.
Perhaps I can just get the door for you.
Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
care now.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Okay.
Kirsten.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See? You've done that. You happy?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
I can't tell you how happy I am because I could be jumping up and down and dancing with delight at the moment. It's just the most wonderful thing. It's repaired not only that little mug, but also repaired some of the sense of loss and some of the lost happiness. It's fun in a mug.
On Lou's bench, the windmill is starting to take shape.
So I've just finished the tail fin. It's back in one piece and I've fitted it into position. It's looking good. So there's a few more bits that I need to finish off before Helen and John come and pick it up. I've got to finish the balustrade, get the sail on, of course, and then we'll be able to hand it over to them. I'm really looking forward to seeing their faces and hopefully be excited to see it working once more.
That looks amazing.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
I hope this is going to fit.
Lovely.
For Helen and John, the windmill helps preserve a precious connection to their father, a man of many talents.
There they are. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you both doing?
Brilliant, thank you. Excited.
Very excited.
Yes. It just feels like Christmas Day. To see it just in its entirety would be brilliant.
Okay.
To see it moving would be fantastic.
You're both just looking at it. You just can't wait to see it,
I
can you?
can't. I can't.
There's no eye contact. It's just straight there.
Big again. Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Ah. That really, really is exactly how I remember it.
Oh, gosh, it's just tremendous.
John, I could just see you studying every bit of it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's just amazing.
So it looks the part. Didn't you want to see it working?
Yes, yes.
This is like the sweetie talk.
It's like a little kid again.
I want to see it working. Oh, my goodness. That is
Thank
great.
you so much, Lou.
Well, it was Mark. I did need help from Mark.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely. You okay, Helen?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sort of like it, it takes you back to, when we were a family again, all together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. My pleasure.
That could well have been a lot more complicated than anybody was imagining.
Let's just say your dad must have had a lot of patience. I don't mean in the surgery sense, but the skill and the patience he must have had, it just is very telling.
Fantastic.
Are we allowed to look inside?
Of course you are.
Let's have a look.
Oh.
Oh, my goodness me, look at that.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, honestly.
So what's the future hold for the windmill?
We've been planning and
We're
plotting
planning.
where it's going to be.
So we thought,
All right.
well, we'll take it back to our house.
Yeah.
And then we're going to invite the whole family and we're going to have a big party, which will be fantastic.
Well, we'll give you a hand out to the car. We've just got to take it apart. But thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you.
All right, let's take it apart, Lou.
If my dad could see Lou and Mark's work today, he would be absolutely delighted. He would have been amazed.
I think seeing the windmill working again, it's just brought Dad back a little bit. It's all his memories all wrapped up in that one piece.